This was one of the most controversial fights in boxing history. Tyson turned professional nearly 12 years before his opponent was born. And despite losing a unanimous decision, he said,
"If there was ever a fight that perfectly summed up the strange and wild world of boxing today, it was Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul on Friday night. This fight seems to have brought more harm than good."
They just want me to lose. That's the only way they would have thought it was entertaining.
I think there's a world where some people definitely wanted you to knock out Tyson.
Right.
From Mike Tyson's own son coming in to support his father in the wave of legal controversy, Tyson Fury expressing his sad reaction to the fight to MVP also being dragged in, this is the controversial aftermath of the biggest but most boring fight of the decade.
What did you think of the fight?
It wasn't a good one.
It wasn't a good one. Yeah.
Here's what. On January 17th, 1997, a baby boy named Jake Paul was born in Ohio, a little blonde-haired bundle of joy bringing happiness to his family. On that very same day, across the boxing world, people were asking, is Mike Tyson finished? The heavyweight legend, once known as the most dangerous man on the planet, had just been beaten by Evander Holyfield 2 months earlier. Tyson was already past his best days, but back then, people still thought he had more to offer. Who could have imagined that 27 years later, Tyson and baby Jake would end up facing each other in the ring?
What do you think about Mike Tyson, Jake Paul? Did you watch the fight?
Yeah, no, man. It's feel bad, you know. My legend, my friend is down, but don't know. It's the lows, but man, it's over. You know, it's 58 years.
The fight wasn't just surprising; it was downright bizarre. Jake Paul stood across from Mike Tyson, a man who once sent shivers through the spines of opponents and fans. Now, 58 years old, Tyson was taking on a man 31 years younger, someone who had grown up watching him on highlight reels. The build-up to the fight promised an action-packed fight, but seems like the most action will be from the lawsuits. The aftermath has been nothing short of a circus, with lawsuits coming in, accusations of a rigged fight, and even Tyson Fury, named after the man himself, calling it a shameful chapter in boxing history.
Well, it happened. Jake Paul beat
Mike Tyson and Jake Paul might be forced to actually give up the rewards of the fight, since, well, the fight was just another script. And this is something Mike Tyson might not be able to live with. Besides, he did this fight to be able to support his family, and now all that effort might be thrown away. It all started after the fight when Jake Paul dropped a huge revelation.
Can we give it up one time for Jake Paul?
Hey, thank you. I'm sorry I didn't knock him out though, guys.
Shut the fuck up. Really sorry.
He admitted in interviews that he held back in the later rounds, saying he didn't want to hurt Tyson and just wanted to put on a good show for the fans. While that might have sounded noble to some, it sparked outrage among others. Lawyers and critics quickly pointed out that such comments could lead to legal trouble. If Paul intentionally pulled his punches, could the fight have been staged? People had bet millions on the outcome, and claims of a rigged fight are no small matter.
Did you feel Mike's power at all?
No.
He hit you with one, and you gave him the tongue.
Only because the crowd got turned up, but it didn't actually.
Mike Tyson, on the other hand, had nothing to say about the controversy, at least not publicly. For a man who walked away from professional boxing nearly 20 years ago, the fight seemed more about entertainment than competition. Back in 2005, after losing to Kevin McBride, Tyson admitted he no longer had the hunger for boxing, saying, "I am not going to disrespect the sport anymore by losing to this caliber of fighter." Yet here he was, 2 decades later, facing someone who wasn't even born when he was in his prime.
Punch him.
It's not the training videos that I saw.
Yeah, it's pissing me off. Fucking deck him. This fight sucks.
He's not even throwing punches.
No, he's not. He's there for the check and that's it. Oh my god, what a waste of everyone's time. Everyone waited 5 hours.
The fight brought in millions of dollars, but it also brought heavy criticism. One of the loudest voices was Tyson Fury, the reigning heavyweight champion, who was named after the legendary Mike. Fury didn't hold back, saying, Why did he take this fight? I get it, it's about making money. But this, it's sad. I just wish it would stop. The disappointment didn't stop with Fury. Tyson's son, Amir, was also vocal about his frustrations.
Imagine somebody say, I want my legacy to be this way when you're dead. Why do you want somebody to think? You think somebody really wants to think about you? What's the audacity? I think, I want people to think about me when I'm gone. Who the fuck cares about me when I'm gone?
Sitting ringside and even working as part of the broadcast team, Amir saw the fight unfold up close. Afterward, he took to Instagram to blast the negativity surrounding the event. "The internet is so dumb," he wrote. "You just take anything and run with it like clowns. SMH, if all you do is gossip about events, bank accounts, and other people, you will continue to always be broke. Change your ways." While Amir defended his father, others were quick to pile on. Social media exploded with claims that the fight had been fixed, with critics pointing to Jake Paul's post-fight comments as proof. Even the promotion company, Most Valuable Promotions, had to step in to deny the allegations. They released a statement saying the fight was sanctioned by the Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation and that rigging a fight is a federal crime. "This isn't the first time Jake Paul has faced baseless accusations," said Nakisa Badarian, co-founder of MVP. "From the start, people have doubted his skills, but Jake has repeatedly proven himself, setting records and delivering big events. The claims that this fight was rigged are illogical and frankly insulting." Despite the controversy, the fight was a massive financial success. Jake Paul reportedly walked away with $40 million, while Tyson earned about $20 million, a staggering amount for a man who hadn't fought professionally in 19 years. Yet the payday raised even more questions. Why was this fight even happening? Was it really about competition, or was it just a money-making spectacle?
Yeah, you need to retire.
Were you irritated watching the fight with Mike Tyson and Jake Paul? Are you one of the fighters that had taken umbrage with Jake Paul's victory over Mike Tyson and wanted revenge at?
If you would have tried to hurt Mike Tyson, maybe. But, you know what I mean? Mike Tyson, you know, he went in there, he made a good paycheck, and he deserves that, you know what I mean? I'm just happy that he didn't get hurt in there, you know, because at the end of the day...
Critics have long accused Jake Paul of cherry-picking his opponents. Most of his past fights have been against former UFC fighters or people who were far from their prime. Facing Tyson, an aging icon, felt like another carefully chosen move to build his brand while avoiding real danger. Paul's loss to Tommy Fury in 2023 showed he could be beaten, but fights like this one seem designed to keep his win column growing without too much risk. Even some fans seem to acknowledge the absurdity of it all. Before the fight, thousands of comments posted on social media were saying, "Don't follow the script, Mike." Fans flooded the comments with pleas for Tyson to give a real performance, not just play along with some pre-planned storyline.
Ask the following. This is one of the situations when you lost, but still won. I'm grateful for last night. No regrets to get in the ring one last time. I almost died in June, had 8 blood transfusions, lost half my blood, 25 pounds in the hospital, and had to fight to get healthy, to fight so I won. To have my children.
But it gets even more interesting from here. Tommy Fury, Jake Paul's opponent from a while back, also reacted to the results and the fight in general. His verdict, delivered with blunt honesty to IFL TV, was just 2 words: bank robbery. It was a simple yet scathing summary of an event that had the boxing world talking, not for its athletic brilliance, but for the sheer spectacle and money involved. Fury, who knows a thing or two about Jake Paul's boxing journey after beating him earlier this year, had more to say, though not much of it praised the fight itself.
I didn't even feel it. He's angry. He's an angry little elf. Mike Tyson, I thought that was a cute slap, buddy, but tomorrow you're getting knocked the fuck out. I'm fucking him up, Burial. I'm fucking him up. He hits like a bitch. It's personal now. It's personal now. He must die.
From the start, Fury made it clear he wasn't interested in analyzing the bout as a true contest of skill. "I didn't expect anything else other than what we saw," he said, dismissing the idea that the fight held any real boxing value. According to him, attempting to evaluate it in sporting terms was pointless. "I'm not going to talk about it in a boxing sense because there's no point doing that because you can't." To Fury, the Tyson-Paul fight wasn't about punches, strategy, or athletic achievement. It was about dollars, pure and simple. And on that front, he admitted, you couldn't fault it. "In a business sense and in a commercial sense, it was absolutely amazing," Fury acknowledged. He credited both men for pulling off an event that captured global attention and, most importantly, raked in massive profits.
But what did I make of it? I think commercially and a business sense, I thought it was absolutely fantastic. Both men made a ton of money. So best luck to them, congratulations. As far as the boxing fight, it wasn't a fight, it was a tip and tap, don't hit me, I won't hit you. Circle the ring a little bit, make it look good. That's all it was. So I don't really make too much of it.
Well done to both men, Fury said. They earned plenty of money out of it. They left with a little trickle of sweat over their eyebrow. That's it, isn't it? For Fury, the fight was the ultimate low-risk, high-reward scenario. A spectacle that entertained millions while leaving its participants virtually unscathed. Tyson, a 58-year-old legend, and Paul, a social media star turned boxer, each walked away with their bank accounts bursting and their faces barely touched. But while Fury was willing to praise the business side of the fight, he couldn't hide his disappointment in what it represented for boxing. As a fight, it's not even worth talking about, he said, signaling that events like these, while lucrative, don't reflect the essence of the sport he's dedicated his life to. For Fury, the matchup between Paul and Tyson was less about skill and grit and more about selling a spectacle, a trend he clearly finds hard to respect. Fury's perspective isn't surprising. Having faced Jake Paul in the ring, he understands the hype that Paul generates, but also sees the limitations of his boxing skills. To Fury, the Tyson-Paul fight wasn't a battle of legends or a test of greatness, it was a cleverly marketed payday. And while he grudgingly tipped his hat to the financial success of the event, his two-word summary, bank robbery, says it all. It might have been a massive commercial win, but in Fury's eyes, it wasn't a fight worth remembering. And it's not just Tommy Fury who expressed disappointment. Francis Ngannou, the former UFC champion and close friend of Mike Tyson, also found it difficult to watch his mentor share the ring with Jake Paul. As someone who deeply respects Tyson's legacy, Ngannou expressed both admiration and heartbreak over what unfolded in Friday's fight.
Obviously, it would be the biggest moment in all of boxing history when I put this man to sleep.
He dreams a lot. This is not gonna come true, young man.
I respect your opinion, but it's just my...
Speaking to TMZ Sports, Ngannou didn't mince words about how painful it was to see Tyson, a man who once defined dominance in boxing, facing off against a YouTuber-turned-boxer in a spectacle that seemed far removed from Tyson's glorious past. It just hurt me to see Mike there in that situation, Ngannou admitted. Knowing Mike, what he can do, and then seeing him there with Jake Paul, man, that sight just hurt me. The visual of a 58-year-old Tyson trading punches with a 27-year-old Paul was hard for Ngannou to reconcile. Tyson, the same fighter who had been a symbol of raw power and aggression, now stood in a ring where the stakes felt more like entertainment than sport.
It just hurt me to see Mike there in that situation, like see him there with Jake Paul, and Jake Paul like, hey man, like...
He just fought at heavyweight.
Yet Ngannou didn't withhold credit where it was due. Despite his discomfort, he praised Tyson's ability to even take part in such a contest. This is 58-year-old Mike Tyson, who's been doing this sport since he was 12 years old, Ngannou said. To still be able to stand up on his own at this age, I think it's impressive. There was genuine admiration in Ngannou's words for Tyson's endurance and courage to step into the ring against someone more than 3 decades his junior. Even if Jake Paul wasn't considered a serious threat, Ngannou acknowledged that going the distance at Tyson's age was not a small task. What stung the most for Ngannou was the dynamic of the fight itself. Watching Paul, a fighter whose credentials pale in comparison to Tyson's, take the spotlight in such a context was difficult to accept. It wasn't just the mismatch of skill, but also the way the fight unfolded. Paul later revealed that he deliberately eased off during the later rounds to avoid hurting Tyson, which for someone like Ngannou likely added another layer of discomfort. However, as much as all this reaction is coming in, it seems it won't be stopping Jake anytime soon. Jake Paul is unstoppable, even in the face of widespread disappointment following his fight with Mike Tyson. Reactions from fans and fighters may have leaned toward disapproval, but Paul's confidence remains unshaken. Fresh off his victory over the 58-year-old legend, Paul wasted no time in stirring the pot again. This time, his sights are set on one of the biggest names in combat sports history, Conor McGregor. And to everyone's surprise, the call might have already been answered.
Connor, you're more active on Twitter than you are in the octagon. Stop taking Trenbolone and start taking fights. You're more actively cheating on your wife than you are in the octagon. Your priorities are mixed up. Put down the bottle and get back to fighting.
Conor McGregor has reportedly accepted a staggering 40 million pounds offer to fight Jake Paul. For Paul, this is a dream scenario. After all, the Ohio native has been strategic in selecting opponents who maximize his financial and public profile. A fight with McGregor, arguably the most famous UFC fighter of all time, fits perfectly into that blueprint. It's a high-risk, high-reward move that could define Paul's career, especially if it follows his formula of taking on older or inactive fighters. McGregor hasn't stepped into the octagon or a boxing ring in more than 3.5 years, making this an intriguing, even though controversial, matchup.
Knock out Mike Perry, Conor McGregor, let's run it, but you won't do it because you know what's going to happen. You saw what I did to Nate Diaz, who you went toe-to-toe with. So Conor McGregor, lay off the cocaine, get in the gym, and start winning fights, and then maybe we could have a conversation.
This isn't Paul's first time calling out McGregor. Back in December 2020, when Paul had just begun his professional boxing journey, he made waves by challenging the Irish star with a $50 million offer. At the time, the idea seemed laughable. Paul was fresh off a few early wins, while McGregor was a household name with a legacy secured through legendary UFC bouts and a headline-grabbing boxing match against Floyd Mayweather Jr. But Paul's boldness paid off as he gradually built a reputation and a following that made such a matchup plausible. After his victory over Ben Askren in 2021, Paul escalated the challenge, taunting McGregor online. "Dear Conor," he wrote, "I know you told my team you would fight me at 170 pounds. That's never happening. But let's run it in MMA. No weight class, just like how it used to be done. But you won't." Paul's provocations were met with disdain, but McGregor's interest has now materialized, fueled by the promise of a monumental payday.
You know, I told you exactly what was going to happen.
McGregor's response wasn't entirely surprising. Even before Paul's fight with Tyson, the Irishman expressed his disdain for the YouTuber-turned-boxer, rooting for Tyson to rattle the little dope. But disdain hasn't stopped McGregor from seizing lucrative opportunities in the past. With a hefty paycheck on the line, the idea of stepping into the ring with Paul seems to have outweighed any reservations. While the McGregor fight dominates headlines, there's still the unresolved chapter of Paul's career, his narrow split decision loss to Tommy Fury in February 2023. It's the only blemish on Paul's 11, one record and a source of lingering tension between the two.
Let's get it. Let's get it.
Fury, who has been vocal about his readiness for a rematch, remains confident the fight will happen. Speaking to ESPN, Fury declared, "In a heartbeat, yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I think me and him, we're set in stone. He's only got one defeat, and that's to me, so it's inevitable that we are going to get back in the ring." Financial negotiations, however, seem to be a sticking point. According to Paul's former coach BJ Flores, Fury's camp is pushing for unreasonable demands regarding the fight purse. Despite these obstacles, a rematch would undoubtedly draw massive interest, and the prospect of avenging his soul loss could be too tempting for Paul to ignore. Paul's ambition doesn't stop there. Offers continue to pour in from fighters eager to test his skills. Among them is IBF heavyweight champion Daniel Dubois, who recently called out Paul on social media. Fresh off a win over Anthony Joshua, Dubois issued a bold challenge. "Hi Jake, good business on the weekend, but how would you feel fighting for the legitimate heavyweight championship of the world? This is Daniel Dubois calling you out. Let's get it on." Paul's response was dismissive yet non-committal. "Get in line." While he hasn't ruled out the possibility entirely, it's clear Paul is carefully choosing his next steps.
I wasn't at all surprised by the result. I think Mike Tyson is a winner either way.
Jake's asked for a fight with you.
If Jake wants it with me, he can get it too. But I'm the world champion.
Yeah.
Give him a shot like that, you know.
So you'll just knock him out in the first round, within the first minute.
Of course, but it would be a historical moment, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
In stark contrast to his lukewarm response to Dubois, Paul has shown a mix of confidence and caution when addressing challenges from more seasoned fighters. Light heavyweight champion Artur Beterbiev recently issued his own call-out, inviting Paul to step into the ring against the current undisputed champion. Paul, ever the showman, responded by asserting that he runs this sport, but stopped short of directly accepting or rejecting the challenge. For Paul, the path ahead is filled with interesting possibilities. A fight with McGregor could shatter records and cement his status as a cultural phenomenon. A rematch with Tommy Fury could offer redemption and quiet critics who doubt his legitimacy as a boxer. And a showdown with a reigning world champion, while risky, could elevate him to a level few expected him to reach when he first laced up gloves. Paul's trajectory is reminiscent of Floyd Mayweather's ability to combine business savvy with boxing success. Like Mayweather's infamous bout with McGregor, Paul has mastered the art of creating events that capture global attention, regardless of how everyone views them. If he manages to replicate that formula in his next fights, 2024 could be a career-defining year for him.
But these guys probably aren't even, they're probably not even contacting Jake Paul themselves. Don't forget, a lot of these people don't run their own Twitter accounts. They'll have access to their Twitter, they'll be able to have a look, and if they fancy doing a reply or a response to somebody, they will. But most people are doing their tweets for them. You remember when Anthony Joshua said to me, I don't run my Twitter account, I don't.
The one certainty in Paul's career is that he thrives on unpredictability. Whether it's calling out the biggest names in combat sports, taking calculated risks, or stirring controversy, he keeps the world watching. With McGregor reportedly accepting his offer, Fury anticipating a rematch, and other champions lining up for a shot, Paul's next moves will likely continue to blur the lines between boxing, entertainment, and spectacle. For better or worse, he's rewriting the rules of the sport, one fight at a time. But what's your take on this? Share your thoughts below and hit that subscribe button for more updates. See you in the next one.